It was alright. At first it was like, I think the fear of actually coming out was worse than coming out. Because I told all my friends in like year 9, because they were all like saying similar things, like we all kind of like grouped together. For some reason we all just found each other and was just like, I'm gay, me too! So coming out with like family was fine. In school I didn't really care, everyone knew. But then parents, it was a bit scary. Told my mum first, and then everything was fine, and then we waited to tell my dad because we were a bit scared, but then the moment we told him, he was just like, I don't care.
Was it when it came out? Most of it was alright. I think most of my friends saw it coming pretty much because none of them even really cared. They were just like, oh, okay. I didn't really come out, really. I just said I was with Beth. She just sat there in silence for quite a while. I was just like, okay. And then my mum told everyone else, so it was alright. And then I texted my dad just a couple of months ago. I hadn't told him, he was the last one to tell, and he was fine with it as well, so I've not really had any problems with that.
It was pretty hard. My mum really hated it, embarrassed about it. I thought it'd just be a phase and it'd just like go. But it really didn't. No, didn't go. I don't know, my dad took it pretty well, but my mum was very upset about it and grounded me and wanted to move schools because I was in a girls' school.
Probably late teens, so 16, 17, but I never acted upon it because I thought it was wrong. Come out at the age of 20, which is quite late, but I suppose before that I didn't really know what I wanted, so I prolonged it a bit and kept it a secret.
I don't really know, because I didn't really think of it as like a thing, if you know, like when I was in primary school, I can remember like really liking one of my teachers, but then looking back on it, like I didn't really think there was anything like, oh my god, I like one of my teachers even though she was a woman. It was just like a stupid little crush that I had when I was in primary school. So I think for quite a while, but then again I never really thought to myself, ooh, this is something, oh my god, until I was like older, and then I was like, oh wait a minute, actually I do like women. What?
Young, you know. I'd say like, I didn't know for sure, but I knew there was something there. I'd probably say at like 14, 15, I think. But I didn't act on it. But I did know.
When did you act on it?
17. I think yeah, 17 was when I acted on it first. I waited a few years in it, and then I just went crazy.
Did I know? Oh god. I don't know. I'd say 12 or something. Yeah, 12. I had a girlfriend by 13, so obviously somewhere.
I lost a couple of friends, but I suppose you don't need them friends. Like, if they can't accept you for who you are, then what's the point?
I don't think any ended, but I think the people that I went to school with, they all looked at me different. Like, I feel like they thought I'd kept it secret all the way through high school. I felt like they were like thinking, I don't know. But I just thought that they were there, I don't know. I didn't lose friendships, but I knew that they were like talking.
No, there was like some backlash in school for just stupid teenage boys being stupid teenage boys, but none that I actually cared about. Like a few friends were being a bit dicky. I don't know if I can swear. They were being a bit stupid. So like we just distanced ourselves, but nothing, I didn't really care about the relationships that I lost, because if I lost them over something like this, but then they weren't really worth anything to me, to sound blunt as hell.
Maybe. I don't know, I can't remember how old I was, probably about 13 or 14. And I got beat up outside my school because I was with a girl. Who is the girl? Just another girl, two big girls and then a lad. just basically came up to me and shouting names and threw me on the floor and wouldn't let me get up basically. It was on my own, so I couldn't really do anything about it.
Just stupid things in high school and even in primary school, like before I'd even come out, just things that people don't really think matter that much, like saying stupid stuff like, oh, that's so gay, just stuff like that. It's just, they don't really understand that like the people around them might be struggling with who they are, and to hear what they are used in such a negative way might be nothing to them, but it's so much to someone else. Like, I used to hate it so much. I used to like stand up and be like, don't you dare say that, it's so homophobic, and they'd be like, what, are you gay? And I'd be like, no, not me. But then in the end I was just like, yeah, I am, and you saying that just makes me feel like crap. And even like, I was very lucky because like I had very supportive parents, but if someone was in school and that's where they felt safe, because at home they didn't have the best thing, and then to hear that in school as well, I can't even imagine. So I haven't really experienced like homophobia where it's been like direct, like, straight at me. However, like just people being stupid and just being like not really realising how homophobic they're being and have such like a massive effect.
Do you think that's due to the parents, like not sort of nipping it in the bud when they first hear it?
Yeah, I think it's parents, and then also like society and it not being educated properly in school. Like in high school there was like posters around saying it's okay to be gay, and then there would be like a very small support group where no one really went, and if they did go it's because they bought them cupcakes and it was great, but that was it. Like the posters were put up saying here's our club, but there was no like assembly or anything like that to say this is happening. So it was like if you caught it in, if it's caught your eye and you saw it, then you'd know about it, but there was no education. And especially like when you start high school, there should be that education to say, look, you're coming into a place where it's a lot bigger than your primary school and there's a lot of like different people around you, so you need to kind of watch what you're saying. So parents, but also schools, like I don't understand why it isn't like put in there with sex ed, because I can remember being in sex ed and them teaching us the ways to stay safe when having sex, but then being like, well, how am I going to stay safe when I'm having sex? It makes like, this is all well for all my friends, but what do I do the same? Like, how do I stay safe? So yeah, parents and also just education, like there's no reason for them not to say, look, we're not all the same.
I grew up a bit from like a traditional farming family, so it's always been a bit resented, I guess. There was someone who lived next door was gay, and my family didn't get on with him for that reason.
I think in the sense of like anxiety wise, yeah, like because I was anxious of what people were going to think about it all. Yeah, I think anxiety did make me anxious.
Do you still suffer from it now?
About being a lesbian. Sometimes, like, you know, when you're in like public, when you're in certain places and you think, is it acceptable to be a lesbian here? Or like when we're on holiday and that, I'm thinking, do these people like lesbians? Are we alright to be lesbians? It's just other people's perceptions, isn't it, that you're anxious of, really?
Yeah. It doesn't affect me. I think it affects other people. It could affect other people. Like, it makes you feel like you can't be who you are, who you'd want to be, because you're worried about what other people will think. Even if it's something as little as holding someone's hand walking down the street, you don't want someone to take a second look at you. Whereas if it's just a couple with like a boy and a girl, nobody really takes a second look. But I think today's day and age, I don't think it's necessarily that many people do take a second look, it's just a few people that do, and it makes people have a complex about it, but I don't, because I tend to not really care about what people think.
I'd say yeah, a bit, just because when you come into terms with it, you just like, because there's not a lot of gay representation and stuff, like there's more now, it's getting better, but as I was, cause it's quite a while ago now, you do think, what is wrong with me, kind of thing, and because you don't tell anyone and it's such a big thing in your head for such a while, I do think you do a bit, but then as soon as you come out and start talking to people about it, I think it just kind of thing is itself, unless obviously you've had a really bad experience with it, which then it would probably cause you more mental problems, yeah.
Like,
Makes you a bit nuts, but that's alright.
do you get anxiety at all to tell people, or
No, I'm not that. I'm alright with that.
is that because you feel like they'd know?
Yeah, because I look how I look and I am how I am, so yeah, they already know before I say it.
It's a massive like anxiety that I had about telling people. Also just like existing as a kid, like being in work. I had my first ever job, I got it when I was 17. I was just so scared of like, do I tell them that I'm gay or not? Like, is that going to have an effect on the way they treat me or the way they look at me? Just every single person I meet, I always have in the back of my head, like, I've got to tell them that I'm gay. What if they don't respond very well? And it does affect me, like, very anxiety ridden. I'm able now, I wasn't in the past, but I'm able now to be like, it's fine. If they don't like it, then they don't like it, that's okay. We're just two different people. But when I was first like coming out, it was very like, what if they don't like me? What if I lose people? So I feel like it does affect people mentally, and especially young people when it's first happening to them. That's like the time where there needs to be support. And if we don't openly talk about it, it's going to be a bit like they don't know what they're doing and they don't have anyone to talk to about it, and they don't know this fear is like natural when it first happens. So yeah, it does affect mentally as well.
Grey's Anatomy. Oh, I used to love Grey's Anatomy. Cali in Arizona. Yeah, their relationship. No, they were just dead cute together.
Programmes. Yeah, loads. I remember when I was little, because I've watched Coronation Street for ages, as lame as it might be, but like when Sophie came out and stuff like that, and even when Todd did, and that I must have been really young for that, I can remember thinking, like, being really interested in it. And then the L Word, but I've only recently started watching that for like last year or something. There's Emily in Pretty Little Liars, even though I don't like her. The actress, I think she's right annoying, but like the character, because like obviously like the story is her coming to it, and then it's just an everyday thing in the rest of the series, which is good. And loads of films, yeah. But I think everybody watches stuff that has gay people in it just because you're like, oh my god, yeah, you're me.
Yeah.
His crush was Channing Tatum. I know it's a popular one, but he's pretty handsome.
Oh yeah, Hayley Williams. That was probably the one. Hayley Williams, definitely the one.
Either Brad Pitt or Channing Tatum.
I have to say, this is going to be really strange. I had two, and one was John Travolta and one was Michael Jackson. How do I react? I was shocked at first. Katie told me first, and then you just turned up below. So it was a bit of a shock, but I'm okay with it.
And I went, oh, okay then. It is what it is. Simple as that.
Nothing scare you at all?
Nothing to be scared of, is it? My views have changed, but I watch how I say things because I can offend people without intending to. But my views haven't really changed. I haven't got to get anything against gay people. But I can say things in jest, and other people might take it as offence. But not just against gay people, but against anyone, any walk of life.
A lot of people look at them as like, I don't know, a bit dirty and not very nice, but it is a good way of socialising with gay people. And obviously if you go out like just normally, you can't tell if some people are gay. So I suppose it is a good way of finding out new friends and making connections. If I didn't have them apps, then I probably wouldn't go out as much and I wouldn't know the people I do now.
I don't know, like, if you're younger, and I suppose if that's what you want, I've never saw a problem in it. Like, if that's what you want to go out and do, then as long as you both have that, as long as you both know that that's going to happen and that's what the case is, then don't see a problem with it. I think it's a bit crude, like, but if you know what it is and you know that you're on it, then it's up to you if you want to be on it.
Yeah, no, but what do you think? I just think that's a bit strange.
I've never even heard of it. I've never been out of a relationship or whatever, so I'm not going to hear everything like that.
Probably you do meet up on them ones, don't you? Yeah, I think they're good if you use them like safely and that, like you need to like have a phone call and that with. I don't know. I think make people just message on there and meet up, don't they? I don't think that's that safe really. But I don't know if you like. I've met people off like apps like Plenty of Fish. I've met people off like them. But I've like spoke to them on the phone and that. I've Skyped them, so I've seen them or FaceTimed them or do you know someone like that before I've met them? I know it's bad, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I've used it and I don't think it's been like a negative experience using it.
I hate it. I hate it. I never ever watch it because it's just so fake and it just does not do anything for me. I'm like, no, like I saw one once. I don't know if you can put this in or whatever, but she was like just doing stuff and then she got a heel. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is not what happens. Like, this is why people come up to you in clubs and are like, yeah, like, do you use your shoes? Like, it's not even accurate at all. Like, it's rubbish. I hate it.
Gay sex is like, I feel like gay sex, yeah, like man on man, that is, because it's made by men, fueled for men. Whereas with lesbian porn, it's made by men, fueled for men, with females in it, and it's just very stressful when you just see like these women with these like massive nails and you're like, that isn't going to feel nice. What's going on here? But obviously to a man it's like, oh, look at this femininity and look at them and like the way they just like completely overact, and it's just like, you're not feeling that, and it really, it's very, very stressful. Like gay porn, man on man, that's like, I feel like that's okay, but even then it's so like overacted, and like you'll see like, I don't know what to call it, yeah, videos of like boy loses his virginity, but it's obviously not, like this is a porn actor, he's done it a lot of times before, and it just fuels this like, it's not how it actually happens, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know that, and yeah,
So
I don't really
have
like
a damaging
porn that
effect
much.
on people.
Yeah, it definitely can, on anyone, but especially like in our community, because if you think about it, these kids like are like scared, maybe scared to talk to people about it, and then like find these things on the internet and think like, oh my god, look at this and look at this, and if they're not openly talking to people about it, they actually think that's how it works.
No. Not at all. No, not at all.
I think they are, yeah, by society, definitely. I just don't think that it's sociably accepted. I think people find it stranger for men to be gay than women. I think people think women are more attractive than men. I think they just find it more stranger for men. It's less normal for men to be gay than women.
Yeah, they are, and I think it's because it's, I don't know, I'd see it as because to be gay there's the act of putting, you know, doing what they do. I think that's what people struggle to accept, the actual sexual relationship between them. I don't think that they're less accepted as in that two men are together. I think people just like shy at the fact of the act of, do you know what they do? I don't have a problem with it personally. Do what you're doing, mate. Have fun. Shove it where you want it.
I think gay men are more in your face than gay women.
In what way?
they have to be seen that it's all flamboyance and everything, it's all look at me. Of what I've noticed is...
I think all gay men are like that.
Not all of them, but I think the majority are. What I know of, but I don't know that many.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, because I don't know, you find that men don't really like straight men don't really like gay men, do they? But they can accept a lesbian because, I don't know, sometimes they find it attractive or whatever, do you know what I mean? But
Sometimes they think they can join you.
yeah, oh, that's it. Or something.
It's like everyone's so happy and they're out and loving life. Like it's very rare if you go to like a gay village or something that there's a fight that breaks out unless a straight person comes along who's homophobic. That's the only time I've ever known there to be a fight in the village, whereas if you go anywhere where it's just like a normal bar, straight bar, and there's always someone who wants to start a fight over some next bird.
It's a lot more fun. I think it's a lot more, people are just very accepting of other people, however they are, whether they're gay, straight, they're just very accepting of each other, however they look, whatever they do, just like to be around each other.
I don't know. The ones I've been in, they're quite, for example on Canal Street, they're quite like separate, like lesbian clubs, gay clubs. They're not, there are obviously there's JOA, ain't there, and whatever, they're like mixed. You get lesbians and gays in there, but yeah, they're quite, I think they're segregated, the gays and the lesbians differently. What they're like, crazy. They're a lot crazier than straight clubs. I don't know why. I think it must be just the mentality of lesbians and gays. They're just crazy, aren't we? Just got to screw loose, haven't we? Just got to party harder.
That when you're in a gay club, no one gives a shit about anything. And everyone's just much more open, like there. Because everyone knows that you're similar in a way, and like, you don't feel as if you have to behave in a certain way because people won't hate on you, I guess. So you're more open and just doing what you're doing, and everyone's really nice.
That for them to like come out in their own time, and it honestly does get better, and once you come out it is one of the best feelings, like just to know that you can be yourself, like it is a good feeling.
Experiment? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't know what I'd say really. I'd say talk to your friends, innit? Just be open-minded about it, and you know, if the thought's there, I don't know. Just don't. Yeah, be open-minded about it, and yeah, that's what helped me chatting to my friends, innit? So talk to your friends about it.
Go for it. It's a lot more accepting nowadays than it was, so everyone will still love you.
Don't give a shit what other people think. It's not worth it. I mean, if your family or your friends have a problem with it, then that's harder to come to terms with, but if it's just people you know, then it's not worth it. It's not worth being upset over. If your friends are, you need new friends, and if your family, then try and work it out, but it's hard to change people's views.
Just do it when you're ready, innit? Like, well, obviously, you don't pressure yourself. It don't matter who knows or who don't know. It's what you're doing, innit? So you'll really, that people obviously you get worried about what your mum's gonna think and that, but at the end of the day, like, you don't need to. It's not your mum you're sleeping with, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's your mum's not. She's not gonna be that bothered about it in the end. Like, she'll get used to it. Like, you've got to get used to it.
Just be yourself. You have to be accepting of yourself before you can be anything.
they might as well come out and tell it and take the grief, or whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's no point in worrying about it for all your life and then coming out towards the end of your life and then think all them years are wasted and I could just come out and said it. If people are going to accept it, they'll accept it there and then, or they won't accept it. It's up to them to. You've just got to think about yourself. And if you're going to hurt people, you're going to hurt people. But if we find out in the future when you just can't hold it in any longer and you've got to come out, you're going to hurt them then. So you might as well get it over and done with. And then you can build bridges from then on.